Good afternoon. I'm just going to wait 1 second as we get people on. Okay. Hi, my name is Michaela Legas. I am from Middleburg, Florida. I own Paint Fixation, and I sell my paint out of Antiques for You on Blanding Boulevard, 801 Blanding Boulevard. I also have a website, www.paintfixation.com, and you can go on there and purchase any of the Dixie Belle products, and I will have them delivered directly to your house. I offer $8 flat shipping, and anything over $50, you get shipping for free. So hop on over there after the video if there's anything that you like that you see today, and I'll be happy to have it sent out to you. Today I'm going to work on some hardware that I've been working on. This is the piece that I've been working on today, or this week, still today though. It's a little buffet type piece that I've been working on. The colors that I used in this, hi Dixie Belle, are French Linen, which is the darker color, and Sawmill Gravy, which is this lighter color. And I'm going to show you all the products that I'm using on this piece, plus I'm going to show you how I'm doing the hardware for this piece and the different options that you can have when you are working on a piece. So the first thing I'm going to go over just the products that I have used on this buffet. French Linen is the dark color that we're using. Now, when you're using French Linen, this is what I have found. Out of all the Dixie Belle paints, this one probably changes the most when it dries. So when you're blending with it, and you're blending with a lighter color like I am here with the Sawmill Gravy, it tends to be difficult until it starts to dry a little bit to see what your piece is going to look at. Looks like we're getting some people on today. Everybody tell me where you're from, where you're watching from, and say hi, like, share. Hop over to my Facebook page, Paint Fixation, like and share. Good to see everybody at noon. And I'm here in Florida, and Florida's kind of having a schizophrenic attack right now. Yesterday it was 84, and right now I think it's 45, and today's high is 59. So I haven't been feeling that great, and I think it's because the weather just does not want it. It's schizophrenic. It doesn't know what it wants to do. Anyway, okay, back to the products. So French Linen is the first one, the dark color that I'm using. The lighter color, which is one of my favorite neutrals now, is Sawmill Gravy. And these are backwards. Oh, it's freezing in Canada. This is Sawmill Gravy. This is one of my favorite neutrals now. It's a beautiful color. Okay. Also, on the inside of this cabinet, I'm going to show you real quick. One of the shelves inside was broken. It had the inside shelf in the very back on the other side. I need to replace it. I'm going to have to cut my own piece. And so I don't usually paint the inside of my pieces, especially if they are pretty. But I thought, hey, Jerry, I thought I would, since I have to paint it, because my shells are going to be cut out of plywood most likely, and I'll router them so that they're smooth on the edges. But I'm going to have to paint them. So I decided I was going to do a pop color on the inside. This color that you see here, I still need to do a second coat, so it's not fully painted yet. But that color is one of our new colors also. It's Antebellum Blue, which is this beautiful blue right here. Okay? I love, love, love this color. It's got so many possibilities. Okay? So that's going on the inside. Then that's actually the only colors on the piece that I have used. The other products that I'm going to be using are, I had to use some Dixie Belle mud because it had some dings and some pretty deep scratches on it. So I used our Dixie Belle mud. This is an amazing product. If you haven't used it, you really should get some. It's a wonderful product to use to fill cracks, to make raised stencils. I have a piece that I'm also working on here. I'll show you in just a minute how I use the raised stencil on that one. Okay, the other thing that I'm using today is Slick Stick. Now, I rarely use this when I'm working with wood furniture. It's not really necessary to use it unless you have a highly varnished piece and you don't need to sand it, but you're worried that the paint might not stick well. Then you could use Slick Stick because you don't have to sand with Dixie Belle paint. But sometimes, you know, depending on the piece, the damage, what it's like, you might find that you need to sand it a little bit. Then you wouldn't need to use the Slick Stick. But on this piece, I did end up having to use it because these appliques, this decorative piece here, is plastic. And the piece was in kind of rough condition, and when I was cleaning it, the finish on it came off, and I found that that was plastic. And so I wanted to make sure, because I wanted this piece, I'm not going to distress this piece, so I wanted it to have this elegant look to it, nice clean look. So I wanted the paint, I don't want any of the paint to come off at all. I also slick sticked the top because it was also quite smooth, and these French provincial pieces are kind of, you just never quite know what substrate you're working with on here. So I went ahead, since I already had it out, I put a layer on here just for extra durability. The other thing that I use this for is, hi, Melissa. The other thing that I use this for is my hardware, and I'm going to show you in just a second why I did that. Okay. And then we're also going to be using Clear Coat Satin and our Pearlescent Glaze, which is a new product for me that I have only used it a couple times. But let me show you the different. Okay, this is the hardware that was on this piece. It's got beautiful curves. You know, it's your typical French provincial. So when you're doing a piece with Dixie Belle paint, my lighting in here is terrible. When you're doing a piece with Dixie Belle paint, you can use it on your hardware, and you don't have to worry about it really coming off. I do have a piece over here where I have these knobs. These are porcelain knobs. Okay, you see how shiny that is? Hey there. Hey, Kristen. If I were going to use these, which I'm not, because, come on, they're pretty ugly. I mean, I might be able to do a mold on there and really spice it up a little bit, but for this piece I'm working on over here, I'm going to replace these. But I would definitely use Slick Stick on this, because even if I were doing some sanding, I wouldn't want this ugly brown color to come through. Now, when you're using Dixie Belle on your furniture, if I have many, many times left my hardware on my piece, okay, to paint right over it. I like to do a lot of distress looks, and so it makes it easy for me to paint the whole piece, leave the hardware on, and then when I go back to distress the piece, I can easily distress off of the hardware, and it comes off, you know, wherever I want it to, and stays on wherever I want it to. But on this piece, again, I wanted a clean, non-distressed look on here, so I used Slick Stick so that I don't have to worry about this paint coming off of here and showing the bronze or brass color underneath it. Okay, because here's a piece for another piece of furniture I have, and this is kind of the color that this used to be. Okay, now normally you could paint right over this if you're going to do a little distressing, but again, I use Slick Stick because I don't want any of my paint to come off and show what's underneath. Okay, and when you're using Slick Stick, you want to put on a thin coat, and you want to wait about 2 hours for that to dry well. And then you're going to put on another coat and wait for it to dry overnight. So when you're using Slick Stick, it's a 2-day process, okay? But if you need it, it is worth the wait, okay? This stuff makes the paint stick on like glue, okay? So this has got Slick Stick on it. This is the look of the piece that I want it to look like. Okay, and I don't know if you can tell, but I have pearlescent glaze on top of this. And I'm going to show you how I did this look. This is sawmill gravy, and then I put a French linen wash on it, and then I went back over it well, before I put the French linen wash on there, I put some clear coat and satin just because I wanted to be able to wipe off the French linen really well from the top pieces and just leave the French linen in the cracks, okay? After French linen, after it dried, then I put my pearlescent glaze on top of that. And then I will put these back on. I wish you could see the pretty glimmer that this has, but my lighting is not very good out here. This is my back porch, and my lighting, I have these big windows, and they're kind of not making things helpful. But after I get completely done with these, I'll put all of my hardware back on, and I'm going to spray my top coat, my gator hide. I'll spray it, so I'll just spray my gator hide over the top of all these at the same time, just so that we don't have to waste any time. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, so I'm going to bring you over here and show you how I did these. Okay? I am really sorry about the lighting, guys. I don't know. Okay. So I've already taken these pieces. I'm going to put my glasses on. I've already taken these pieces, and they're all slick sticks. So there's these, and then there's these cute little ones, which are so dear. These go on the cabinet doors. Okay? And the first thing that I'm going to do is get out my sawmill gravy. I've already shook these up pretty good, so I'm going to just go right to it. All right. I like to get a fluffy brush when I'm doing this, so I'm just using artist brushes for this because they're nice and small. And I'm going to just go right over the top of this. Okay, we're just going to paint, and you can see the difference in the color. Okay, this is the sawmill gravy, and you can see the difference between that and the white of the slick stick. Okay, so I'm going to get this all in the cracks, cover up any of the brass pieces that the slick stick missed. Now, if you're on, let me know if you have any questions while we're working. I can see the comments pretty good. It's a little bright when I'm looking at the camera, but I can see them pretty good. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the products that I'm using. But what you need to remember too is you can do this with any of the Dixie Belle paint. So if you have a colorful piece, I did a piece once that I did blues, pinks, purples, and I left my hardware on, and I just painted all the different layers of colors right on the hardware. And so you can use your neutrals like I'm doing today, or you can use dark ones like your caviar, which is our blackest black. You can use any of the grays, any of the colors. Okay. All right. So that's I'm just going to continue. Okay. That's sawmill gravy. I'm going to just move on to my next piece here. Let that dry a little bit. I might have to use the blow dryer. I normally don't use the blow dryer to dry things, but for teaching purposes and speed, we'll have to probably do that. We don't have unlimited time here. Not too many people on. It's that time of year, I guess. Everybody's out shopping. I hear my wind chimes out there. It's breezy. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in Florida. Yesterday, not so much. In fact, I was out here working on this piece yesterday, and I almost turned on the air conditioner that I have out here. That's how warm it was. And today, it's so cool that I've turned the fan off. It's absolutely crazy. Any questions from anybody? Okay. That's the second piece. And you can see how easily this goes on. I mean, and this is one coat of sawmill gravy. And that's all I am going to need. It's completely covered the bright white of the slick stick. You can't say that about every neutral. Just because they're white does not mean that the paint is going to cover. There are paints out there that you would have to use 2 coats of a neutral color like this. And that's just not the case with Dixie Belle. This is a 1 coat. Now, we do have some colors that might require 2 coats, like cotton, probably, even though this is white, to get a nice clean. Cotton is a really white. But this color, this consistency, I love the sawmill gravy. It's nice and thick. It's almost, I would say that's the perfect neutral. How do you clean your hardware? Okay, I scrubbed these with White Lightning. That is one of our products. It's a dry product that you mix with water. I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, Tracy. I scrubbed them with that. With these, they were really, really nasty. This piece had been in a storage unit, and so I actually used a wire brush to help get some of the nasty out of the cracks. And after cleaning it with White Lightning, I went back and rinsed it really well with just clean water. Let them dry, and they're ready to go. The White Lightning, guys, if you haven't tried it, it is amazing cleaner. I mean, it's really the reason you don't have to sand with Dixie Belle. It's a deglosser as well as a cleaner. So after you clean a piece with it, unless you have issues with your substrate that need to be like filled in with Dixie mud or straightened out, with sanding, cleaning with White Lightning, rinsing it well is all you need to do prior to putting your Dixie Belle paint on. Okay, and that's as easy as that. Okay, so then I've just put the sawmill gravy on all of my pieces. I always keep a little bucket of water at a table when I'm working so that none of my pieces will get, none of my brushes get dry and yucky. I'm going to put my lid back on. I really need to put this in a different container. It's starting to get gross around the edges. Okay, so let's get back to the first one I did. It's still a little bit damp. So I have my hair dryer. I'm going to hit this with my hair dryer I'm going to hit it with the hair dryer just to get it dry so that I can put some satin clear coat on here. So excuse me just a minute. Okay. All right. Let's dry. Now, the reason I'm putting a clear coat on here is, like I said before, when I put my next coat of paint on, I'm going to do a wash of the French linen, and I want to be able to wipe off a lot of it from the raised edges of my piece so that we kind of have a two-tone look. Okay. So here's my clear coat in satin, and this gives a nice finish. They are covered in paint. Someone says that their parents would be covered in paint if they were doing this. I have a couple of friends on here. They can tell you how messy I am. I'm kind of a nightmare, really. But I have fun, so it's all right. It's all good. Okay, so I'm going to get a clean brush. Thank you. They're only like this because I had a wedding and then my son graduated. Someone said my nails look pretty. This is not what my nails look like, okay? They usually look like, well, you wouldn't even, go look at my past videos, you'll see. I had a wedding to go to. My son graduated from college on Saturday, and so Mama wanted to look like something other than a furniture artist. Okay, back to work here. So I'm going to put my clear coat satin on here, and it doesn't take much. I'm just going to hit all of the edges so that we get a nice slick surface on here for my wash, because I don't want my wash to stay on every piece. And Dixie Belle paint is a chalk mineral paint, and so it will, what's the right word, absorb. So if you put a wash on top of uncoated Dixie Belle paint, it will grab a lot of the color and make it difficult for you to wipe it back. So anytime you're doing like a wax or a glaze or any decorative material that you want to wipe back, it's really smart to go ahead and put a clear coat first and let it dry so that you have more workability. Yes, thank you. My son graduated from UCF in Florida with a computer science degree. So we graduated him on Saturday, and then we moved him to Melbourne on Sunday to start a job at Northrop Grumman. And let me tell you, it was exhausting. I think maybe that's why I'm not feeling too good, because Mama's tired. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit these other ones while that dries a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put my clear satin on all of these. Michigan, ooh, that sounds cold. You know, I love Florida, but I wouldn't mind a little bit more cool weather. Like today, I could do this weather every day. It's a beautiful day. It's warm. It's warm enough to go outside and sit in the sun, but it's cool enough that I can open my windows up and not have to use the air conditioner. Someone's from hometown of Florida. So country living, if you're not in Florida now, where are you now? I might have missed it because I can only see 2 comments at a time. Now, you know, you don't have to paint your hardware either, and I should have mentioned that earlier. This really does look pretty, okay, just like it is. This has been cleaned, but again, I wanted this piece to be very neutral and just a very clean look, and that's why I decided to paint these. But it definitely is not necessary to paint your hardware, and even if you decide not to paint your hardware, Dixie Belle sells gilding waxes that are like a metallic wax that you can put on your hardware either before paint or after paint. But they add a nice glimmer. We've got several colors that you can use. I use them a lot to just add a little bit of bling to the hardware, but for this piece I didn't want any bling. I just wanted to keep it neutral. And this piece will be available for sale. It'll be on my website if you know anybody who would love to have it. You can visit my website at www.paintfixation.com. You can buy the Dixie Belle paint from there. And as I do get my pieces ready, they'll be available for sale on there also. Okay. You see how easy that is? This is so easy. I needed easy today because I haven't felt good. 18 degrees. Ugh, that sounds awful. Yeah, that's too cold for me. Sorry. I just can't do that. All right. So I'm going to dry this a little bit real quick with my hair dryer. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I did my my wash. Okay, I've got a little tray here. Okay, and I'm just going to squirt some water in it, just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to take my French linen. Okay, that's what we used on the piece. And when I do my wipe, I'm gonna use a shop towel because these don't leave any lint on the piece when I'm done. So I'm gonna get that ready. I'm gonna use a fluffy brush like this. I know this has, I think, Phyllis something. Anyway, this is what I use for this. I'm gonna dip into my paint just a little bit. It does not take much, okay? And I'm gonna put it in the water that I just put in here. Okay, can you see that? It's very little. It's very wet. Okay, so this just gives it like a wash. All right, now I'm just going to take this and put it all over the piece. Can you see? I really apologize if y'all can't see very well. The lighting is not very good in here. But you can see how it's filling in the cracks. See the difference between this side I haven't done yet, and this side over here? Okay. I'm going to grab just a teeny bit more paint because it went into the edges of my plate. Okay. Now, so this is completely covered with my white. Oops, I missed a spot. You know, I say completely covered and then it's not. There we go. Because I want it in all the little recessed places. I'm not as concerned about the raised spots. Just okay. Now I'm going to take, so I've got it all covered with my wash. I'm going to take this shop towel and I'm literally just going to wipe off the paint from the top parts, from these raised areas here. Okay, so we're leaving the fringed linen in the recessed parts and pulling it off the top parts. Okay, just like that. Okay. All right, I'm going to hit it one more time with a hairdryer. Okay. Now I'm going to, yes, I'll show you the two, one done and one not done, just 1 second. So the next product that I'm going to use is Pearlescent Glaze, this product right here. And what this is, it dries clear, but it leaves a glimmer. So you're not sacrificing your color, but you are getting a beautiful glimmer to it. And I just felt like this piece really needed that pop. Okay. So it looks like this on the brush. See that? But it dries clear and it has a glimmer to it. And I'll show you, after I put this on, I'll show you the finished one that I did earlier. I'm not going to hit this with the dryer. I'll let this dry on its own. Anybody have any other questions? I think everybody might be out shopping because we haven't had too many people on today. I know that here in my area of town, everybody's been very sick. The flu has been everywhere. And thankfully, I'm somewhat of a homebody, so I don't think I have the flu, but I think I have exhaustion from moving my son, from not sleeping and carrying heavy equipment up 2 flights of stairs. Okay, so you can definitely see the difference already without this even having been dried. Okay, I'm going to try and get the lighting better so I can show y'all. I grab the one that's already done. Let's see. Let me see if you can see the difference in these. So this one has the pearl. I need to put my glasses on. There's my dog. Oh, I hope that's my paint that just came in. I ordered paint and I had problems with it getting here. Okay, there we go. You see how this one, oh, I can tell Can you tell? This one has a little bit of a glimmer to it, and this one does not. This one also does not have the French linen on it. Okay? But you can see the glimmer in this. Okay? Now, let me talk a little bit about if you want to change your hardware out. So this is the piece I was telling you I'm working on. Now this looks really bad because I'm just now getting started on it. But this is the piece that brown porcelain knob came from. I am not going to put those back on here. Okay? This is a stencil that I did with the Dixie Belle mud. Okay? So if you're going to replace your hardware, you do not necessarily have to replace it with the same exact inches or type. So the ones that are on my blue piece are, like I showed you before, these ugly knobs. I mean, they're ugly now. I could probably make them look pretty, but I don't want them on that piece. I want to get something crystal-y or something like that. But if I wanted to get something for that had two holes like these, this one has two holes in it, you can use Dixie Belle mud to fill the holes on your existing piece. And AJ had a video the other day that she had the best idea where she puts the Dixie Belle mud into a baggie and she pipes it into the holes. So let's say on this one, I wanted to replace this with something that was a little wider, and these had to be closed up. She pipes it into the hole, which I think is a brilliant idea because it's really hard to get product in there to stay. You can pipe your Dixie Belle mud in there, and you want to bring it a little bit past your surface. So you want it to come up just a little bit, let it dry completely, and then sand it smooth. If you don't bring it up past your hole, you're going to have a divot, and you're going to be able to see that there was another size hardware in there. So you want to make sure it comes a little bit above your hole and then sand back to the flat surface of your piece. Okay? So that's how you can change your hardware. And there's a lot of places that you can get hardware really cheap. You can go to the thrift stores. You can go to the Goodwill. You can go to Habitat. Restore stores have them. Hobby Lobby has zillions of them, and they have good sales. So don't ever, when you get a piece and you don't like the hardware, don't ever think that oh gosh, I'm going to have to use this hardware. You don't have to. Your first option, your cheapest option, would be to paint it. I mean, and time-wise, it's literally minutes. I mean, it doesn't take long at all. And it makes it uniquely yours. So there will be another piece exactly like it. It's going to be exactly how you want it to be. So if you have any questions, I'm going to wrap this up for now, but if you have any questions about anything, please go into the comments, ask the question. I will go back after the video and answer any questions that you have. Also, you can catch it on the replay. And please like and share if you enjoyed the video. Again, you can go to my website to get any of the products that I have worked with today. And I have good deals on shipping if you would like to order some of the Dixie Belle products. Thank you, Wendy. So Heather, a person just came on here and she says that she has 2 full drawers full that I've collected. That is a good point. So if you get a piece of furniture and you do not use the hardware, like this piece I have here is a lone piece. This is from a piece, I don't even remember where it came from. Either I didn't need it or something. When you don't use your pieces, put them in a box labeled hardware, and I can almost guarantee you that one day you're going to need one of those. Like if I had a box full, those knobs that I don't want to use, I could probably find 4 knobs in a box that I could use on the piece that I'm working on. I have not gone there yet. I usually paint them. I don't get a lot of knobs like that I don't like. But that's a very good tip. Do not ever throw anything away. Don't throw away your screws or anything. Keep them because you will need them one day. But I just want to tell everybody thank you for joining me today. This beautiful Florida weather. Sorry for all you guys that are snowed under. Come see me. Anyway, if you are local to Middleburg, Orange Park, or Jacksonville, Florida, you can come to Antiques for You at 801 Blanding Boulevard, and you can purchase Dixie Belle paint from there, or you can go on my website again, and you can order from there, and I will have it shipped to your home. So thank you for joining me. Have a great day.